you are in for a treat today. We've got Tommy from Hoosier Coin Currency. He's coming on to answer a variety of questions that I have for him and a bunch of viewer questions as well. But I have to tell you, folks, before we get started, silver stacking is not all fun and games. And I have a public service announcement. It's a little out of character for my channel. It's a little more on the serious side. So please, before we even get started with Tommy and the coin shop video, please watch very intently this important public service announcement brought to you by me, T the Silver Stacker. Did you know that every 2 seconds, a like button goes untapped? You can make a difference. Tap that like button and make this little guy happy. T. Hello, silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for silver education, acquisition, and entertainment. Hey, I have a special guest today. You probably remember him from my previous videos if you were lucky enough to catch those. His name is Tommy, and he owns Hoosier Coin Currency. Hey, welcome aboard, Tommy. Thanks for coming back on, man.
Hey, T. Thanks again. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Hey, how's the weather down there?
Little rain. It's warm.
Wow. We're getting slammed by snow. We'll see how high it piles up, but it is a great day for coin collecting and silver stacking. A perfect day for the hobby, that's for sure.
Absolutely. It's always a good day for that.
I've got some questions for you that I came up with as I was anticipating this interview and this conversation. And then I've got a bunch of viewer questions. I posted it online last night, and several of my viewers came up with some excellent questions, I think. So without any further ado, let me get into it. How's business lately? And specifically, spot price has kind of been going back and forth a little bit lately. How does that affect business?
You know, it used to be when spot would climb, then I would have an influx of people that wanted to buy, and then when it would come down, people would sell, which is actually opposite of what you should do.
Exactly. Buy low, sell high, right?
Right. I call it kind of like panic selling. But here lately, I think there's such a disconnect between premiums and what things are trading for. Spot is almost irrelevant. You know, if spot changes $1 or $2, it doesn't really change what I've been paying for stuff, and it doesn't change what we've been selling at. It may sound crazy to some people, but if you actually log into any like trading platforms, you'll see very little difference between, say, like where Eagles, where they're buying and selling, between when it was 24 versus say 22.50. Very little change at all. So even though the spot's been doing that, the market stayed pretty stable.
You mentioned Eagles. Do you have any of the 22s in yet?
I do not have any 2022s. I actually did not order any.
No kidding.
I didn't want to pay the premium on them, so I did not order them.
Yeah, I think, you know, I bought one at a coin show just to have it. You know, I got to have at least one 2022, but that's not something I intend on steady stacking throughout the year. I will buy some as gifts, you know, for births and you know, things like that. But as far as stacking, they've kind of gone off the radar as far as a good stacking coin.
So my game plan, and maybe it's not the right thing, I felt like when the newness of the coin wore off, then I would get some. I've had a few customers that want them for their sets, and I feel like when it's not the latest, greatest thing anymore, that we'll be able to obtain those coins a little bit more affordably. So when they first were coming out, if I was to order them, I think my cost was going to be like over $34 a coin. So even if I marked it up like even 50 cents, you're talking a big premium.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to shell out to make, you know, 50 cents a coin. I would, you know, in case anybody's wondering about the weird angle, you see Tommy there. You'll see me coming from this side, which is a first for me. This is so that you guys can look at all the pretty stuff over here. while we're having this conversation with Tommy. I'm going to talk to you about a fellow YouTuber, somebody I really admire, like one of the heroes. He's on my Mount Rushmore of silver stackers on YouTube. His name is Salivate Metal. He just made a video about a 1794 silver dollar. It sold for $12 million. Which caused me to wonder, what's the rarest coin to come in your shop? Have you had anything significant that just blew you away?
Yes. As far as what's actually more rare, rare, and there's things that are rare, but they don't have demand, so they don't get the huge prices like that.
Yes.
Probably the most desirable U.S. coin I've seen, and it actually belongs to a local customer. She was gifted a box of coins from her father-in-law, and they were coins that had been in his family for a long time. There was a lot of world coins in there from the First World War and Second World War, and there was just a miscellaneous grouping of U.S. coinage. And these coins had not been, well stored or anything, just thrown in a box. And in this mess of coins happened to be a 1795 flowing hair dollar, which the example that she has is very strong. It was sent to PCGS and they gave it an extra fine. So it's a nice example, and that's not a cheap coin.
It must have been quite an honor just to handle that thing. I mean, how cool is that?
It's a neat coin. Occasionally she'll be looking at something and she'll say, well, this is a little bit more than I want to get into or I can afford. And I'm always like, we could trade that 1795 dollar. We could work something out.
Oh yeah, I bet. I made a video just south of Chicago a couple weeks ago. I asked the coin shop owner this question, and her answer was a little bit controversial. And so I'm going to ask you the same question. Some people applauded her for her honesty. Others were very irate with her answer. And when I asked her, silver will hit $50 an ounce again, she said, maybe not in my lifetime. She was very doubtful. Do you have any strong thoughts on that regarding if and when silver will hit $50 an ounce again?
So I tend to look at things from almost like a historical basis. We've been at 50 one time before, and I think we reached around 49 at one point.
Yeah, so, in 2011 we were just under 50, and then I want to say it was like maybe 79 or 80 or something like that. We hit just about 50.
Right, which obviously some things came into play that were abnormal, that pushed those prices. I think for that to happen, we have to see a number of things. You'd have to see an increase in the demand, which is possible, and I think we also have to see a significant weakening of our dollar. I don't think it's impossible. When I start hearing numbers thrown around that are in the several hundreds to thousands, I don't think we'll see that. Obviously, if I believe that, I would never sell any of it. I would keep it all. 50 is probably not unreasonable. I think that more around 35, 40 is probably a more obtainable number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that you can't deny that industrial use ramping up, especially with electric vehicles. There was a major automaker just in the news recently talking about ramping up their production of electric vehicles exponentially. And everybody knows that EVs use a lot of silver, considerably more than other vehicles. There's other factors as well. It'll be interesting to see. But one thing that I will point out is that whenever I show that chart of the 1980 and that 2011, there are sharp spikes up and then straight back down. Me personally, I would prefer just to see a steady rise up over a course of several years rather than those huge, crazy spikes that cause pandemonium,
I would agree with that, T. Ultimately, I have no way to predict markets in the future and all that. So I really don't know. My gut tells me that if we did see an increase to that, that exactly like what you described would happen again, that we would see it come back down. So it'd be, in my mind, better to have it stable at a certain price rather than have a spike and then a fall.
Yeah. I've got another YouTuber buddy. His name is Cash and Coins. He has an excellent channel. And he asked a great question just this morning. He wants to know about buying back, for example, a 1/10 ounce gold eagles.
You know, premiums on smaller pieces are higher. And I bought some 10th ounce maples that's probably about 2 weeks ago. I ordered 10th ounce maples, and my cost was, I think, $207.
You paid $207, so I appreciate the glimpse into, you know, what goes on behind the scenes. What do you sell those? If you bought them for $207, you've got to make a profit, obviously. So where are you at on those?
Sold for $215.
Okay, wow, not a huge margin there. And
no, but they didn't stay very long.
That's the thing. Volume, in and out the door. Hey, once again, another YouTuber. It seems like we all in this YouTube community watch each other's videos like crazy, but Patriotic Stacker wants to know, what do you sell the most of, silver or gold? What are people walking in the door asking for?
So volume-wise, you know, it's silver by a long shot. If you're looking at, you know, sales in totality, then gold outpaces it, you know, greatly, because of the huge price difference. We have maybe a dozen or so customers that buy gold on a regular basis, and as far as silver goes, somebody may come in and want, like for example, somebody wanted, like, I think 10 dimes yesterday. Another guy bought, I think, 3 ounces. Then another guy bought a roll. So on the silver, you have people that buy a few here, a few there. Some of them buy like 1 ounce a week. But we have a lot of people that do that. So volume-wise, silver by far.
Patriotic Stacker also wants to know, will premiums eventually go down this year? Do you see any time soon when premiums are going down?
So I thought that when the country reopened, I thought that we would see the premiums come down, and not just premiums on coins, but in bullion. I thought we would see premiums on a lot of things come down. That really has not been the case, and I suppose this may be the, you know, for lack of a term, this may be the new world, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think the public has gotten used to paying these prices, and dealers as well. There was a little time there where I was kind of holding off, like I wasn't ordering silver to have an inventory. I thought, I'm going to ride this out, let it come down, because it used to be I could order silver bullion and pay like maybe 55 cents over or 60 cents or whatever, and get it in stock. And now that's just not the case. And I waited it out for a while, and then I just kind of accepted that, hey, if I'm going to have this in inventory, that's the new market.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, I had expected it to fall off, but seeing that it hasn't, maybe this is where we're at now.
Yeah. Some of the people watching us are relatively new to stacking. What would you tell the new stackers out there?
See, I don't know that it's life-changing, but an unfortunate thing that I see a lot is I see people buy a lot and buy more than they really probably should, and then they'll find themselves in a financial situation where they have to dump all their stuff to pay for whatever this incidental thing is. So I would say that even though it can be a lot of fun, just make sure that you're operating within your budget and within what I would call, you know, disposable income. So if it's money that you're okay with basically not having, then totally fine. But I've seen people take basically entire paychecks and dump it into buying silver or buying gold. Their mindset is that in another month or two, they'll turn it for a profit. And this is more a long-term thing. So be very careful of that.
You know what? That might be one of the most valuable things my viewers hear in a long time, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's pretty easy. For me to see, go walk into a random coin shop and find lots of stuff I really like. And when I show my videos, I show what did I buy at the end of the video, and usually it's anywhere from $80 to $100, $120 worth of silver, or once in a while a couple $100 worth of gold or something like that. And without fail, every single time somebody makes a comment, oh, you should have bought this, you should have bought that, you should have bought more. And, because they saw something cool in the video that they would have liked to have purchased. But
Sure.
It takes some discipline to stick to a budget. And so that way you're feeling good about not only what you're walking out the door with, but later on that week when you're doing your bills, you're not stressing. And so for me, it's a savings account. Obviously, the most enjoyable savings account, most people could imagine, but I wonder about some of those guys who walk in and just everything they like, they buy, and then they're hurting later. Hey, Tommy, any final thoughts regarding, anything you'd like to mention to my viewers before we sign off here?
Yeah, I think the channel's growing well. I like that you have an open dialogue between your viewers. So I would encourage people, if they have questions, to reach out to you. And if you don't know the answers, based on how your channel's been going, I'd say you're going to find the people that do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, the channel's been doing well. And it's been a lot of fun. And that's the main thing. It's for most of us YouTubers out there, with a very few exceptions, it's a labor of love. And it's a lot of fun to meet people like you and chat and hang out. And I know your time is valuable. I appreciate it very much, Tommy. And hey, man, thanks for coming on the show. I look forward to seeing you in person sometime next time I'm down in Indy.
Absolutely, T. It'd be great to have you come back.
And for my viewers, I'm going to put all of Tommy's info down in the description. You can find his contact info and look him up. He's a straight up honest dealer. And just give Tommy a call if there's something in particular that you're looking for.
Appreciate it, T, and definitely appreciate everybody watching.
It's always the conversation after the conversation where more good questions start flowing. And thanks for one more. I bought this, Tommy, and this is something that kind of satisfies my interest in not only silver stacking, obviously, but the vintage factor. I guess is, of course, a Kit Kat style bar. It's California Crown Mint. It's not poured, it's extruded. And I paid for this 5-ouncer $200. So I paid $40 an ounce. I guess the question is, how did I do? And tell me about this. Do you see like a growing interest in vintage? Am I crazy for throwing my money away on, something that I, paid, gosh, $12 an ounce more than I needed to? What do you think?
I'm not familiar with that mint. As far as the style of the bar, I don't think that was an unreasonable price. I see them regularly trade in that range.
You have people walking in asking for vintage bars?
We do. Matter of fact, I've probably got a dozen names in the computer of people that, when those types of things come in, they'd like for me to reach out and let them know.
Wow.
There are people that are out there that are for that type of thing.
Yeah, I've come to realize that the interest in Engelhard is incredible. And it seems like the older the better, the more rare the better, obviously. But guys will really pay up for that. I could see myself kind of falling into that, but I've been resisting, and I think I'll slowly work my way into that. I saw one at a coin show last weekend that I took a picture of and sent to a buddy. But those Engelhards, man, that's no joke. That's a serious collecting community.
It is indeed. I was asking Joe, I think it was a 5-ounce piece. So we had a vintage Engelhard 5-ounce gold bar, and it came in like a little plastic wallet style holder. I never had one before that was of that size. And we sold it. Then the person we sold it to sold it back. So we actually ended up owning it twice. It's kind of fun.
Yes, T, I should have bought it.
Oh, we almost got him all the way, T.
Oh man, we had a cameo of Joe there.
So close.
Oh,
Like, remember Home Improvement? And Wilson
yeah.
never like saw his whole face.
Yeah, the
That's,
guy,
I guess,
the
what
guy
Joe's
over the
going
fence,
for
right?
here.
And so, hey, tell me a little bit about those. And for folks who walk in the shop, what price you have on those? Because Tommy, let me tell you, as many coin shops as I go to and coin shows, I cannot find Libertads anywhere. And it's like, if you do find one, it's like one, and they're asking a crazy amount of money. So,
Yeah,
you've got a stash of them for sale?
they've gotten kind of expensive. I think what's happened to you is you have so many followers that you've got everybody hoarding them.
You know, it's just right place at right time, because when I started buying those, still, if silver was at like $20, I was paying like $23 for them, and Eagles were like around the same price, and the rest is history. That was, a couple years ago, and I'm grateful for the ones I have in my collection now, because the price has really gone from bullion coin to collector coin. So you have some 2016s and some 1985s there. What kind of price you looking at on that?
So those in the shop are 35.
Okay, man,
So they do carry a stout.
Dude, you're giving them
premium,
away. People are going to be knocking down your door to find those, man.
Occasionally I'll get original rolls, but they don't come in like they used to.
Yeah.
They used to get a flood of that type of material. They were not as prevalent as Silver Eagles and Maples, but they weren't as obscure as they are now. So I was pretty excited to score those.
Yeah, that's a hell of a score, and congratulations on that. And so, last shout out to my viewers. Check out Tommy. He's got Libertads, and not many other people do.
It's T's favorite.
All right, Tommy, have a good one, man. I'm gonna let you go.
Hey, sounds good. Appreciate it.